This Matchday 16 picks edition of the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Bet Rivers. Claim your risk-free bet up to $500 over at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betrivers. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betrivers. And we're also brought to you by Game Time. Game Time tickets make the perfect holiday gift. Download the Game Time app today. Use promo code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. Welcome everybody to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Wednesday, the 6th of December, and we are here to look over another full programme of Premier League action, whilst we're still in the middle of the current one taking place over the coming weekend. Joining me, looking very Christmassy, Baz. We had some Christmas tree chat the other night. You weren't interested. And then tonight, you've turned up in front of your Christmas tree like a big morose Saint Nick. Mr. Barry Penaluna, how you doing?
Well, this isn't deliberate. I'm just...
You sure?
Because we are recording later, I don't go in the kitchen because the bedroom's above the kitchen and I make too much noise and I keep the other half awake. So I'm doing it from the lounge, and there happens to be a Christmas tree up. I've got to say I played no part in putting this Christmas tree up because, like you, I've got no interest in that sort of thing.
Yeah.
How am I doing, Malcolm? I'm ill again. It feels like
God.
Every other week I seem to be coming on here moaning about another cold. So yeah, I'm full of cold again, which is bad timing because I've got some festivities tomorrow. I've got the works Christmas night out for a meal and a few drinks and all that sort of stuff. So yes, other than that, all good.
Very good. I've seen enough Christmas works night out that I've actually been working at over the last couple of weeks, and I've got about another 10 to do. Tonight, Barry, I have been to Larry's Lanes bowling alley. I've had the casino out in the bowling alley in Seaton Carew. If you don't know where Seaton Carew is, stick that in your map. Right on the Teesside coast, the Hartlepool coast, on the North Sea. It was very chilly up in Seaton Carew tonight, Barry. But lots of young people work at the bowling alley, Barry, and it was getting a bit leery. Look, the manager had the common sense to make the party 6:30 till 9:30, because if he'd done it 9 till midnight, it would have been fucking mayhem. But by about half an hour, the young people were getting very, very leery, and they couldn't go out to the bars because a lot of them were 16 and 17, so they had to stay in the bowling alley so they could have a private do. But yeah, it was fun and games. I quite enjoyed it. So if you're in the vicinity, go and visit Larry's Lanes. Loads of fun. Who's in the chat? Captain Sano, Barry's sick of winning, apparently. Not just sick. Yeah, we are Scrooges. You're absolutely right. But that's both of our Christmas trees. Isn't that where the gecko used to live, Barry? Where the Christmas tree is?
No, the gecko's over that way.
All right.
The gecko.
What's he get up to nowadays? Has he changed his behaviour?
Yeah, he doesn't come out anymore. Geckos don't hibernate as such, but they do become less active when it gets colder. So he's very boring at the moment. He'll come out once a week when he gets a bit hungry. He'll come out, get fed, and then he'll disappear for another week. So he's let us all down lately. No fun at all.
That's disappointing. Captain Sano said we remind him of them two old blokes on the balcony in the Muppet Show. Waldorf and Statler sitting up there. Yeah, that's fair enough. So we are 8 games into a midweek Premier League slate of 10. We've got 2 games tomorrow, but it's been really good. It's been another really good slate of games. I'm quite enjoying the Premier League at the moment, Baz. There's been a little bit of everything. You tend to get one sort of 4-3, 4-4, 3-3 a week, at least one. There's been loads recently. We had the Arsenal sneaked past Luton 4-3 last night. Late winners, loads and loads of goals. So I'm really, really enjoying it. And it looks competitive, Baz, at both ends of the league. Manchester City have lost tonight, which is good for the league because you don't want them to run away with it. Even if we don't want Arsenal or Liverpool to win, we still want them to get competitive. And then in the tier below that, Aston Villa have laid down a marker tonight, a proper one. I think a 1-0 win is so much of a better marker than a 4-3. We've seen Manchester City draw 4-4 at Chelsea. Well, that wasn't Chelsea laying down a marker at all. And neither was the 3-3 with Tottenham. Villa winning 1-0 is a great illustration of what they're capable of. So Newcastle and Villa just sort of pushing aside Man United, Spurs and Chelsea in that second tier of teams. And it looks competitive at the bottom as well. Bournemouth are making a run. Obviously, Everton have their own problems, but are picking up points. So, yeah, it's getting really, really interesting, Baz. Results have been good, where picks have been good. We went 4 for 4 on the Tuesday night, which was great. We both hit different picks on the Luton game, and we both picked Wolves. And we had some good stuff. Bournemouth was a nice play. 11-5 underdog of the week. We both picked Bournemouth plus 220. Yeah, look, recap, lots of games really nicely. So 8 games through, Baz, I've reached 11.5 units. So I'm free rolling. I've got I've got Newcastle and Tottenham tomorrow, both as free shots. So if one of them or both of them could win, could get me up to 13, 14, 15 units on the week. What's your main takeaways from the last couple of nights? It's been quite good crack. It's
been good. As you say, the league is wide open. It's almost like if you'd set up a league at the start of the season with a handicap system, you'd want to start with City a few points behind. So City now having to come from 6 points behind at almost the halfway stage is a proper leveler. I keep saying, and I still stick with it. There's none of the teams at the top end have massively impressed me. And that's not having a dig at anyone. I just think, Arsenal made hard work of it last night. They've done so in a few games this season.
Yeah,
they're getting the results, and that's great. That that's what you've got to do. Good teams get results late on, like Liverpool did the other day. But I still don't think Arsenal are playing as well as they did last season. I don't think Liverpool are playing as well as they did 2 seasons ago when they were at their best, or near enough their best. Spurs started really strong, gone off the boil. Even Villa, Villa at home, unbelievable, and tonight's an unbelievable result. But I didn't think they were very good at the weekend. I thought they were very lucky to come away with a win against Spurs in that game as well at Spurs. So Villa are flying, but again, from one week to the next, one week they look great, the next week they look suspect. But again, they're getting the results, which is important. So I think it has made it intriguing. The thing that stood out for me is it just shows, particularly away from home, there are no easy games for any team in this league, because you've got City going to Villa, can't win. Luton, have made it hard. Liverpool couldn't win at Luton. Man United only won by 1 there. Last night, they made it really hard for Arsenal. Fulham done the same for Liverpool at the weekend. And it just shows like there's none of these teams in that top 4 can go anywhere away from home at the moment and sort of assume they're going to win, because you've got to fight for everything in this league. That Liverpool game and the Arsenal game in particular sort of demonstrate that. So I think it has opened it wide open, and only can be good for the league. I've enjoyed the football. I've watched. Do I enjoy Liverpool and Arsenal getting late winners? No. But it's been entertaining. It's entertaining games. And you can't say, they didn't deserve it. People will say it's lucky because it's late on, but it's not. You keep yourself in those positions and you create the chances and you take them. Game's over when it's over. So, yeah, good stuff.
I've got a conversation to have about Arsenal and Liverpool in relation to Manchester City, Barry, but I think I'll have it. It just came to us when I've just been driving back up the A19, but I think we'll have it on Sunday because we've got loads to get to tonight already and it's quite late, but it's definitely a convo worth having. The chat's asking about the outright market and whether Manchester City is still short price favourite. So I've got them here at 9 to 10, -111. Brian in the chat saying even money, kicking around for Manchester City. You then got Arsenal at 11 to 4, and plus 275. Liverpool 7 to 2, plus 350. Then you get Villa 4th in at 30 to 1. Tottenham 40-1, Newcastle 50-1. I knew I would be backing out to them three, and it's not Tottenham or Villa, Baz. So there you go. This little card coming up, Baz. Totally by accident, I've kind of stumbled across another little interesting way of handicapping stuff, because I've handicapped things twice. I handicapped them this afternoon because I had to go out to work, and I only had half an hour tonight. And it was interesting to see what effect tonight's results had on my handicap. Whether or not you can't just handicap on one recent game, but it can change what you think. So there's a couple of games where I've wrote down a couple of thoughts. If this happens, I'll back this. If this happens, I'll back that. So we'll get to those when I come to them. But it's added something in that I didn't really know existed.
I assume you marked down all the prices this afternoon as well.
And that's the other thing, Baz. Price line movement.
I've looked at it tonight after the games, or during the games and after the games. So I've looked at a few and I've thought that wouldn't have been that price until tonight's game. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what prices you've got marked down from earlier in the day to what we're looking at now.
I've got two things in the lifestyle section I want to mention, Baz. Firstly, this is a sorry tale, Barry. Ooh, this is a sorry tale. And it might just perk up some of the Manchester United supporters. Although big, it's slightly sadistic. Simmers, our good friend Simmers, Paul Simpson, good friend of the show, friend of mine. You were last seen him at Sheffield Wednesday last year on that disastrous trip. Stayed out celebrating after Newcastle beat Manchester United on Saturday. Around the place, was in the Vineyard, Barry. You know the Vineyard down on the bottom of Grey Street. Bought a round of zombies at about 1:30 in the morning, which is a flaming cocktail, one of those ones that set fire to.
Yeah.
Halfway back to the table, he's carrying his 3 flaming zombies. Someone knocks his elbow all over his hand, 3rd-degree burns, Baz, on his ring finger and the finger next to him. He's been to the hospital all week. He was on his way to the hospital today when I spoke to him, all because he was celebrating Newcastle beating Man United and set his hand on fire in the pub. What do you think of that?
Oh, that's harsh. Very harsh.
It's grim, isn't it?
Don't play with fire whilst drunk.
That is a very good advice for anybody. I said to him, "Mike, do you mind if I tell everyone that story on the pod?" He was like, "Nah, go for it." Because he'd been on holiday the week before. He got home, his battery was flat on his car. The tyre was flat. While he was out, his lass flooded the bathroom, and then he went out and set fire to his hand. So it's cost him a fortune, and he set fire to his hand. And Lenny B says nothing good ever happens after midnight, apparently, which is another good saying. The second thing I wanted to bring up, Baz, and back to the algorithm. We haven't had algorithm chat for a little while, and this hasn't really come up on the algorithm, but it probably might now because I've been looking at it a lot. And what do you think, Barry, of this current trend of young girls in their underpants shouting and screaming on Twitter because their football team got beat? Like, every team seems to have one now. It's like we've been issued one by the league. Like, the league have got 20 young girls in their underpants and given one to each team. So I've seen I think it started with Astrid Wet, who was the Chelsea one. Now, she's like a proper OnlyFans person. She puts stuff up her front bottom for the price of a Happy Meal. No problem. But she's done it with Chelsea. And then there's a Manchester United one. But the one I'm seeing at the minute, Baz, could you guess which one?
Aston Villa.
It is the Aston Villa one, yeah.
Awful.
Yeah, I mean, any thoughts on this?
No, I have no interest in that. Like,
I don't really get it. I mean, I don't know if our American audience have this. If your sports team gets beat, that a young lady in her underpants jumps up and down and screams that they're shit and they should sack the manager. And I mean, let 1,000 blossoms bloom. Do you know what I mean? People can do what they want. People can wear what they want. It just baffles me completely. Like, and the other thing with the Aston Villa one, Baz, and we had this with Jack Grealish, is it's the accent. It doesn't help anything. I don't know under what circumstances that accent would help anything or anybody. Like, it's just a shame. We've got people from the Birmingham area. We have people with that accent will listen to this show. I mean, it's got to be a handicap for them, Baz, hasn't it?
That's harsh. But
is it not? Is Wayne going to go mad?
But yeah, you're right. Algorithm stuff, Malcolm. I go on TikTok regularly now.
Yeah.
And what do I keep seeing at the moment is bricklayers, like just laying bricks.
What?
Honestly, I showed the kids and Helen. I said, I don't know why, but I've obviously clicked.
Just laying bricks.
Yeah. There's just a wall laying bricks, and I must have stared at it for about 10 seconds one day. It was quite therapeutic, actually. Just brick, flatten, brick, over again.
Yeah.
And now all I get is bricklayer videos. Honestly, absolutely stored off with videos of.
Well, they're not doing it done, so they haven't got the knob out or anything like that.
Just showing you how good a bricklayer he is, and
Wow.
how much you can earn as a bricklayer. So that's a bit of a random one. So that's my algorithm for the week. A couple of lifestyle bits for me. Did I tell the cat story at the weekend, Malcolm?
Yeah, the people sending you pictures of their cats.
No, not that. It was the mother-in-law.
Oh no.
Oh, this is a good one then. So I've got two things. So I told you of my dislike for cats. No love for them whatsoever. Did. Totally emotionless when it comes to cats. And I don't know why when I mentioned that, I didn't mention this story, or maybe it happened after, I don't know. But anyway, the mother-in-law lives in Hull. She has a Polish neighbour, doesn't speak very good English, very nice man, very polite, but communication's not great. Anyway, he's moving back to Poland. This was on Saturday, removal van's there, packing all his stuff, knocks on the door with a cat in hand and a bag of cat food, and says to Helen's mother, you must look after my cat. And she went, no, I don't want your cat. He went, please, you have to. She said, that cat's not coming in my house. At which point, he just chucked the cat at her, put the food on the floor, and off he went. And like the cat scratched her chest, ran in the house, and the Polish bloke just gets in the van and off he's gone. Just left her with a cat and 4 tins of cat food. Absolutely bizarre. So obviously my advice was you just kick it out into the garden. So she's still got this cat. She doesn't want a cat. She's got no interest in keeping it. So she did kick it out, but then she starts feeling sorry for it. So she'll open the kitchen door and put some food out and let it come in the kitchen, get some food, and then kick it out again.
Yeah.
But now it's starting to get more confident. It'll come through and sit on the sitting room, and then she has to kick it out. And she's tried ringing. She rang a cat rescue place today and explained the story. And they said, well, how do we know what you're telling us is true? And it's not just your cat and you want rid of it? And she was getting the proper Spanish Inquisition from them. She's like, I'm just trying to help you. This cat's going to die because I'm not going to let it in my house. If you want to come and collect this, come and collect it. But yeah, absolutely bizarre. Just knocked on the door and said, yeah, this is your cat now. And off he went to Poland. He's gone. That was funny. The only thing is that cat needs to have been gone by Christmas. Otherwise, I won't be visiting the in-laws.
Yeah.
No time.
Well, I look forward to a Polish cat update on Sunday, but
then this morning, Malcolm, I reckon I broke a world record for warning lights on a car. What's the most?
How many?
What's the most dashboard warning lights you've had in?
Probably 2, maybe 3 on a bad day.
I reckon I had 7 this morning. 7. So it started last week. I had a tire pressure monitor. So it come up and it said, you've got a low pressure on one of your tires. And then it brings you up the tires and it said 32, 32, 31 on one of them. Now, are you going to go to the garage and pump a tire up at that point?
Nah.
No chance. So I ignore it. 32, 31, that's fine. I can live with that. So I left it. So at that point, I have 1 tire warning light and another one just saying you've got a warning. Anyway, by yesterday, I had 3 tire warning lights.
Okay.
So 31, 31, 31, 32. I'm still not going to the garage for that because if 32 is acceptable, then 3 31s doesn't concern me. So I'm carrying on anyway. And then yesterday, I've got the 3 warning lights. I've got another warning light to say I've got warnings. I got low fuel.
Yeah, nice.
To go to the garage. I had a frost warning.
Okay.
And the final one was a bit of a random one. It said, keep driving to clean exhaust filter. I've never seen that one before. But anyway, I kept driving and it turned off. But yeah, yesterday morning, 7 hazard warning lights on my car. Didn't stop me cracking on and getting on my way, like. But yeah, 7's a good effort. Trying. If anyone
that sounds like a challenge, Barry, for the listeners. If you've ever had more than 7 warning lights, or if you think you can, sort yourself out.
This car's only 18 months old, Malcolm. It's not an old car, like. But yeah, good effort.
Very good effort, Buzz. Right, do you remember the football podcast that we used to do, Buzz? It was quite good. What if people enjoyed that? We'll
try that again.
Maybe you should get on. There's 2 things I need to say quickly, though. Firstly, the Spotify Wrapped thing. We're going to give you till the weekend. Get your Spotify Wrapped in. We've had quite a few in, and we're going to do some little contest for those who qualify.
Yeah, if you can send us a screenshot of us in your top 5 podcasts on Spotify, which some people have already done. Those who have done it, we're going to set you a challenge next week, and whoever can come out top of that challenge will win a piece of merchandise. So,
and the second thing is, listener and friend of the show, Pat, had me and Barry as guests on his podcast, Rocking the Suburbs. So if you don't want to listen to us talking about football, which we haven't done so far in 22 minutes, we actually talk a little bit of music for an hour or so with Pat. So if you just, wherever you get your podcast, if you go and find Rocking the Suburbs, you can hear me and Baz talking a lot more bollocks and give us some musical recommendations as well. Notice Francis has turned up tonight. The Man United won, so Frank's back. That must be the rules, is it, Frank? He's back tonight. Yeah, we won't mention it. Right, okay, let's make some picks, Baz. Let's first talk about Bet Rivers. Bet Rivers available in over 14 states, plus Ontario, Canada. Bet Rivers has some of the best live betting markets in the space. Betting menu is second to none, including tons of props. Depositing and withdrawing is super easy on Bet Rivers. Sign up using our link to get a risk-free bet up to $500. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betrivers. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betrivers. Problem gambler, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Okay, so we start on Saturday lunchtime, 12:30. That's a 7:30 Eastern Time kickoff between Crystal Palace and Liverpool. Now, we mentioned line movement, Baz, and there's been line movement on this. Remarkably, Barry, Crystal Palace have shortened up and Liverpool have lengthened in price. Crystal Palace haven't had a terrible result tonight. Liverpool having a very standard result. Palace were 9-2 plus 450 this afternoon. Tonight, they're sitting at 17-4 plus 425. Nipped in a quarter of a point. The draw's 3-1. And Liverpool, who were 4-7 minus 175, are now 3-5 minus 166. So I've got no idea what that's all about. Shocking result for Palace tonight to go up to Bournemouth. Listened to a little bit of Talk Sport on the way back in the van. A couple of Palace fans just wanting Hodgson out. And really, he should never have been there, we don't think. Palace's home form now is 1-1 of 7. Liverpool's away form was a little bit sticky. And really, tonight, we didn't learn too much. They kind of made hard work of beating Sheffield United. There's no patterns with Palace. I think Palace under Hodgson are done, Barry. The players are kind of down tools. We've seen this before. Liverpool on the handicap for me. I think they can go and absolutely screw them. Frank shouting out Liverpool to win both halves, which is another good bet. That was a bet you took tonight, Barry, against Sheffield United. But I just think they'll do them over. Liverpool are full of goals, man. I know they struggled a little bit tonight, but Palace look a spend force. Plus 150, by 6-4 on the handicap. Liverpool minus 1.5 looks a really fair price.
You've got me torn here because I thought about the handicap. No, I'm sticking with my guns. Listen, there's a couple of teams who I feel like you just got to keep fading at the minute. Palace are definitely one of them. As you say, 1 win in 8 league games now. Defeats to Bournemouth, Everton, Luton, just in recent weeks. They've still scored just 14 goals all season, less than 1 a game. And that's going to put them in trouble every week. As I say, Liverpool are motoring now, 3 wins from 4, the other one being the draw against Man City. So really, really good form. They have needed late goals in some of those, but Liverpool full of goals. I don't know who's like. I watch them, And I don't think they look anywhere near as potent as they did when it was Salah, Mane, Jota. Darwin Núñez is absolute garbage, Malcolm.
He's not, man. He's an idiot.
He just runs into people. Like, he just runs into blind alleys all the time. Honestly, if you'd watch the game tonight, Malcolm, he's fucking useless. Absolutely useless. He only played the last 25 minutes, but every time I watch him, I just think,
I think he's brilliant.
He's not for me. Like, I mean, I've got him in my fantasy football team. He'd be getting binned this weekend, that's for sure. As I say, it took a late one for them tonight to get away. You know, they were ahead early, but late goal for them to get 2 ahead. Obviously, came from behind late against Fulham. So I couldn't be that confident in terms of handicaps for Liverpool at the moment, because Diaz isn't scoring many goals like that. Jota's not scoring goals. Gakpo's not scoring goals. They're getting, you looked at the weekend and it was Endo, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Trent. They're relying on everyone but their forwards to get the goals for them at the moment.
That's good, isn't it?
But can they sustain that? I don't know. I think the front three need to start chipping in with some goals themselves. Otherwise, it might end up costing them. There are a lot of sides where I'd be happy to side with them at home to Liverpool at the minute, because I think Liverpool's away form is where you can sort of take them on a little bit. But do I think Palace can do what Fulham did and make a game of it? I just can't see it. So I wouldn't talk you off your pick at all. Like, I think, a similar result tonight will be required, because I've gone for the unders, Malcolm. I don't think Palace can score, and I don't see Liverpool running away with it. It's a big price, to 27-20 plus 135. Liverpool's last 3 games away from home in the league have all been under 2.5 goals. So I'm more than happy to take the unders here. I think Palace will struggle, and as I say, I'm banking on Liverpool scoring no more than 2, which, as I say, they've done in the last 3 away from home. So yeah, pick for me, Malcolm. Palace Liverpool under 2.5 goals, 27-20.
Okay. On to the 3 o'clocks. Brighton take on Burnley. Brighton 1-2. The draw 7-2 plus 350, and Burnley 19-4 plus 475. Barry.
So Brighton are a little bit shorter than I would have liked. Yeah, still a bit unsure when it comes to Brighton in terms of backing them with any confidence. I didn't see the game last night for Burnley, but I've heard they were absolute garbage again, particularly in the second half. I've seen a lot of Burnley fans complain about how poor they were. So certainly, we'd said beforehand in terms of Burnley, the 5-0 over Sheffield United didn't really change our opinion of them. So, as I say, Brighton, just unpredictable. As we know, the only thing you can predict, both teams to score hits every single week. Everyone scores against Brighton. The last 3 games have also gone over 2.5 as well as both to score. So that's where I've gone. I think goals here again with Brighton is the safest play, because I just don't trust Brighton at the moment. So I've gone with both teams to score and over 2.5. I bet that would have hit in all of the last 3 for Brighton games. It's at 20-21, so just short of evens. It's minus 105. So yeah, pick for me, Brighton v Burnley, both to score and over 2.5 goals at just short of evens.
Yeah, I think all I tried to do here was factor in goals as well, Barry. Brighton aren't going to change. You know what you're going to get. I think the question here was, what could Burnley contribute to the game? Because I did watch that Wolves game last night, and that was a classic Burnley performance. In that I thought they played all right, but maybe as the game wore on, they looked a little bit more toothless. But they had possession, they made some chances, but they were even the better team. But they made an error for the goal, which they do every week, and they haven't got a striker. They haven't got an 8-goal striker, a 10, even like I say, 12-10, an 8-goal striker in there. So neither side appeals. I don't want Burnley to win. Brighton are too short. Stick with the goals, Baz. So it gives us a couple of options. I've gone with a different bet to you. I've gone over 3.5 total match goals. That's 11-8 plus 137. Because Burnley can chip one in, because Brighton always concede. Brighton put 2 past Brentford tonight. And as a form line, I think that makes them good for 3. So, yeah, 3-1 Brighton win. But you get a couple of other options as well with a total of over 3.5, 11-8, plus 137. 3 o'clock, Manchester United take on Bournemouth. Man United 3-5, minus 166. The draw 16-5, plus 320. Bournemouth 15-4, plus 375. In fact, drifted out a little bit, Bournemouth out to 4-1 now. So, Man U beat Chelsea tonight. If it was any other team, you just can't read much into that because Chelsea are so unreliable. Better performance from Manchester United. Ten Hag was brave and dropped Rashford. Now he needs to do a little bit more with him. There needs to be a plan in place to try and get Marcus Rashford back to where he was. But he was brave. He dropped him and it worked. I mean, they still relied on 2 Scott McTominay goals, not for the first time this season as well, which is really, really weird. Frank's telling us that he's better than Darwin Núñez in front of goal. So I'm no interest in backing Manchester United still. You just can't trust them. Bournemouth, great form, absolute great form, Bournemouth. Superb win again tonight. They're on a good run of scoring goals and playing well. This is normally the type of game we've taken Man United as a system play at home against the bad teams. They tend to sneak it, but I can't trust them. I picked this tonight, Man United v Chelsea. Both teams to score over 2.5 goals, and it hit. I can't get away from it. It's even money, Baz. Both teams to score over 2.5 goals again. Probably a similar outcome. I was tempted by Bournemouth team total. It's a bit of a bigger price, but I just think this hits again. Manchester United might go and beat them 2-1, 3-1, something like that. So yeah, both teams to score and over 2.5 goals, even money.
Yeah, I don't mind that one at all. It'll certainly, if that comes in, mine's got a chance. Man United were definitely better tonight. It would be hard not to. As you say, Rashford was dropped. Anthony looked better, apart from his constant rolling around, whinging in the first half was absolutely ridiculous. Garnacho was good again. McTominay was everywhere. McTominay could have scored 4 or 5 tonight, Mal. I think he had 7 shots on goal tonight. McTominay should have definitely had a hat-trick, but easily could have had more. So yeah, a bit of respite for Ten Hag, but Man United still unbackable for me at 4-7. Chelsea were poor, but as I say, I don't think you should take too much away from Man United, who definitely put in a bit more of a fight tonight than they did on Saturday. So that was one where I didn't know what price Man United were earlier in the day, but 4-7 now at the weekend. Has there been any movement in that one?
Slightly, 3-5.
Yeah, not much difference, is there?
Hang on, let me give us 1 second. Yeah, they're minus 180 bars now. They're 11-20, but minus 166. They've tightened up to minus 180.
Yeah, I thought that would be the case because it was a better performance. I'll talk about Chelsea when we get to Chelsea rather than here. But as you say, Bournemouth continue to be in a great run of form, unbeaten in 4, and scored 9 in those 4 games as well. And I don't want to get repetitive and keep opposing Man United because I did that tonight and I was wrong. As I say, you got it right tonight. I was on the wrong side of it. And I think the writing was on the wall for me pretty early. But I agree, goals is the way to go. So actually, we've completely flip-flopped from the last game. Man United did look vulnerable on the break at times tonight. And Bournemouth are capable of exploiting that. I thought they broke really well against us when they beat us. At the same time, Man United could easily have had 4 or 5 tonight. They had 28 attempts on goal, 9 on target, and an XG of over 4. So I think goals as well, but I'm going for over 3.5 goals here at 13-8, plus 137. No, plus 167, isn't it? No. Yeah, plus 167. So yeah, pick for me, Man United v Bournemouth, over 3.5 goals at 13-8.
Underdog Fantasy, a great way to play alongside your favourite fantasy players all season long. NFL, NBA, NHL, college basketball and college football. Simply pick higher or lower on your favourite players' fantasy stats and cash in. So watch along, make your picks, maybe make a little cash over on Underdog's mobile app or website, underdogfantasy.com. If you sign up with the promo code SGPN, Underdog double your first deposit up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy. Promo code SGPN. And Game Time, the ticket people, helping you take the stress out of getting tickets for whatever you want. Sport, music, comedy, theatre, last-minute tickets, killer deals, low price guarantees. And the Game Time guarantee credits you 110% of the difference if you find tickets in the same section and row for less. You get images of your seat, all the good stuff, so you can spend time looking forward to the event, not stressing about what's going on with your tickets. Great holiday gift as well, Game Time tickets. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Create an account, redeem the code CFBX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. The YouTube views bar are going up and down like a bride's nightly. I don't know what's going on there. 3 o'clock, Sheffield United take on Brentford. Sheffield United are 15-4 plus 375. The draw's 3-1. Brentford are 23-35 minus 151. This is you, Baz.
Yeah, sorry, I'm lost which game we were on there. Sheffield United done all right tonight. First game under Chris Wilder, or obviously first game under this spell of Chris Wilder. Stayed in it for a long time, which was probably the best they could have hoped for going into this. And the fans will probably be happy just to have lost by a respectable total this week. Whilst it was a respectable scoreline, they still do have 9 defeats in the last 11 games. But Brentford are all over the place. They looked to have turned a corner a few weeks ago. They won 3 on the bounce. They've since gone 3 defeats in the last 4. Another concern tonight, Mbeumo went off, scored the goal, got injured, and potentially could be missing. He went off after about 40 minutes tonight. And I think that would be a blow if he is to miss out, because he is sort of pivotal to their attacking threat, particularly without Tony involved. Tonight was probably never going to be the night for any kind of new manager bounce for Sheffield United, so this game might represent more of an opportunity for that. I don't feel like I can back Sheffield United to win or anything like that, but I think they can keep it tight and possibly come away with something. As I say, Brentford are inconsistent at the moment. So, yeah, I'll take Sheffield United to keep it close. They limited Liverpool tonight. That's a positive. And I think Wilder coming in, first things first, he's just going to try and make them harder to beat. Whether he can do that is another matter. But he will need to make them harder to beat, stronger at the back. So we'll find out this weekend if he can achieve that. But I'm going to back him to do so. I'm going to take the unders again, Malcolm. Under 2.5 goals at 11-10. So Sheffield United v Brentford, under 2.5 goals at 11-10 is the pick for me.
It's pretty brave tonight, Baz, with the unders. I'd just been off them after that week, maybe 3 weeks ago. And we talked on Sunday, we just said it's turning into an overs league. Like we're saying 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10. But yeah, I mean, you've got to handicap it as you see it. But for me, so this was a bit of a free hit tonight for Sheffield United against Liverpool. And they did okay. They had a couple of half chances. And like you say, Brentford are struggling. Like they've only won 2 out of 6 on the road. They're far too short to back here outright. Now, Sheffield United, a bit more time with a new manager. I think it was Lenny was maybe asking in the Discord channel this afternoon what to expect from Sheffield United under the Chris Wilder. Do you think they'll just play with a low block? But absolutely the opposite. Like that first time round when they were in the Prem, did they finish 7th, I think, one season? They played some mad old systems. They had like there was a Chris Basham, the centre back, used to just bomb on. All sorts of madness. So I think they've got some goals in them. I'm going to give them a chance here, Baz, with the new manager bounce. I looked at the Sheffield United team total, but then I think they might even nick this 1-0. So I'm going to go with Sheffield United on the money line. Like I said, new manager bounce, the extra few days. Brentford aren't really up to much. Sheffield United at plus 375, 15-4. I'll take the home puppy for Sheffield United. Wolves v Nottingham Forest, 3 o'clock. Wolves are now 13-15, minus 115. They were even money this afternoon. Draw 12-5, plus 240. Nottingham Forest are out to 16-5, plus 320. They were plus They were 11-4 this afternoon. Forest have drifted half a point, having been roundly humped by Fulham 5-0 tonight. Wolves did enough against Burnley last night. They weren't very impressive. However, Forest got absolutely smashed up tonight. Terrible result for that. This is one of the ones where I had two picks, Baz. It says, if Forest lose, this is the second comparison game, having lost to Everton at the weekend. If Forest lose, I'll take Wolves at even money. If Forest play well tonight, I'll make it my 1-1 of the week. Therefore, I'm going to take Wolves on the money line because Forest weren't competitive. Steve, the only thing that puts you off a little bit is Steve Cooper comes out and gives such a good interview. Like, he takes responsibility, he tells you what's wrong, what they're going to do about it. But it's just words at the end of it. Like, he could talk you into it. And also, their away form, it's been shit for quite a long time. We had this last year. So it's not a very fancy price. Like, I would have preferred the even money, but the 13-15 took it last night. Wolves won, and Forest are in a bit of a mess. So I'll take Wolves. Pass.
Yeah, I mean, same pick, Malcolm. If you ask me where I would go on this before this midweek slate of games, I'd have gone for Wolves. Wolves win, Forest lose, so nothing's changed at all. Forest now 4 defeats in a row and just 1 win in 11. So I think the price for Wolves 17-20, as you say, it's nothing fancy, but it just looks a good price to me. So very simple one: Wolves to beat Forest at 17-20.
Next up is the tea time game on Saturday. Fascinating encounter between Aston Villa and Arsenal. Aston Villa are now 12-5 plus 240. They were 5-2, so will be nipped in 10th of a point. The draw is at 5-2. Oh, sorry, 13-5 plus 260. Arsenal were even money, are 21-20 plus 105. So a little drift on Arsenal. Really good looking game. This, Baz, fun one to handicap.
Yeah, it was the first one that stood out, particularly after tonight's results. I thought this is really intriguing. I mean, we've talked about Villa's home form previously. It's absolutely ridiculous now. 7 wins from 7, 24 goals scored in 7 games at home, and just 5 conceded as well. I went with goals tonight, Villa City, because I wanted to have Villa on my side as well, but I wasn't brave enough to take any kind of Villa win. I thought City would come out on top, but with goals on both sides of it. But again, I don't want to oppose Villa here at this price. I think Villa are a big price. As I say, I've talked about Arsenal before and sort of don't want to keep going on. It sounds like I'm just moaning about them, but I'm not. They're going great at the top of the league, rightfully so. And as I say, good teams hang in games and nick wins late on, even when the performances might not be great. Like they did yesterday, like Liverpool did. Like we used to see for years and years, Ferguson's team, Man United, used to do this, didn't they? And pick those late winners up. So Arsenal are going good, but they are making hard work of it, particularly on the road. I go back to what I said last week before the Luton game. They've only won 1 game away from home this season by more than a single goal. They beat Bournemouth 4-0. Every other win away from home has been by just a single goal. They needed a late one yesterday. They needed a late one a couple of weeks ago against Brentford, where they scored in the 89th minute to win 1-0. And I think if they find themselves in a similar position at Villa Park, Villa might be better equipped to hang on. So at Villa Park, with Villa in such great form, and you give me 12-5 plus 240 Villa, I think I just have to go with the form here, particularly after tonight. And again, it's one where I assume it's shortened up a little bit after the beat City. Notable thing about that City one tonight, Malcolm, Rodri was missing.
Yeah.
That's now 4 games missing and 4 defeats.
Yeah.
4 defeats from Man City in a season is a big number anyway. But for all 4 of them, recent defeats to have come when he's been missing shows how important he is, or how under-equipped they are to deal with him when he's not there. So he should probably stop picking up silly bookings and silly red cards, because he's costing his team. Especially, I think that red card, 3-match ban for grabbing a Forest player by the neck. I can't remember who it was. I'm sure his 5th yellow card that got him suspended for tonight was kicking the ball away or arguing with the ref or something like that. And you just think, it shows how important he is. But yeah, for me, Malcolm, I'm just got to go with this Villa form. Villa are a big price. It's the price that swayed us really. Villa to beat Arsenal 12-5 plus 240.
I mean, yeah, you mentioned Arsenal late winners 4 times this season, Baz, 85th minute or later, including the one where they scored twice against Manchester United. So you can either take that as a positive or a negative, whichever side of the fence you come down on. That win for Aston Villa tonight, Barry, was their 14th home win in a row in the Premier League. It was 7 this season, but that's 14 on the spin. They've done that twice before in their history, Barry, the most recent of which was 1931. So this is a rare run of form.
I don't think they've lost a single one since Emery's been there, have they?
No, an absolute rare run of form. And tonight, they had 22 shots. City had 2 shots on target. They didn't fluke that tonight. Like I say, that was the most impressive Villa we've seen for a long time. Arsenal were unconvincing again. I think they're vulnerable at the back. Villa will test that. This is another one. I had 2 picks before I went out, Barry, and it's been narrowed down. Either take the Villa 5-2 if they played well, or take the Villa team total if, like we expected or like we bet, the game was full of goals and it finished 3-2 City or something. So the Villa team total is 6-4 plus 150. But I'm the same as you. Villa did play well, therefore Villa get my vote. So Villa at 12-5 plus 240. Moving on to Sunday, 2 o'clock kickoff. What time's that? 9 a.m. Eastern time. Everton take on Chelsea. Everton are nipped in again. Yeah, they were plus 230. They are now plus 220. 11-5 plus 220. The draw is at 12-5 plus 240. And Chelsea are 6-5 plus 120. I can't be backing Chelsea as favourites. This is the same handicap as the Man United game. It's the same prices, pretty much. It's the same handicap. Even if you don't want the home team, you can't back Chelsea. They're totally and utterly unreliable. They thought they were really clever, Baz, when they dished out all those 8-year contracts to try and circumvent financial fair play rules. Now, what they've ended up with is a load of players who don't give a fuck because they're on 8-year contracts. So it's kind of backfired a little bit. They can just mince around doing what they want. There's no pressure on them at all. They've got no fight, Barry. In Everton is not a place you want to go where you've got no fight. Now, we caveat this. There's a couple of games here towards the end of the slate that we haven't seen the Thursday night game. So we haven't seen Everton, Newcastle tomorrow. Same with Tottenham, West Ham. But I don't really care because Newcastle will go to Everton tomorrow, and regardless of what happens, they'll fight tooth and nail. And I'm not sure Chelsea will. So I'm giving Everton a chance here. I'm underdog City here, Buzz. Everton at 11-5 plus 220. Home puppy again, Baz.
Yeah, Chelsea were all over the place at the back. Could easily have conceded more to Man United tonight. As I said earlier, on the break, Chelsea looked dangerous, or Man United looked vulnerable, a bit of both, really. They had a ton of breakaways, particularly in the first half. Sterling, Mudryk, Jackson. The amount of times 2 or 3 of them got away 3-on-2s and 2-on-1s and stuff, and they just conspired to make a mess of it every time. But Mudryk, Jackson and Sterling are always capable of that, just making the wrong ball at the wrong time or just running into someone. Mudryk was terrible at it tonight.
I would suggest Mudryk specialises in it. He's not just capable of it. It's his favourite thing.
Mudryk just done the same thing over and over again, just kept running into someone or trying to make the right ball, but fucking it up. So Chelsea can't be trusted tonight. You called that this week, and I got it wrong. And as you say, we're covering this without knowing how Everton have done midweek. But either way, I wouldn't be backing Chelsea, for me, I wouldn't be backing Everton either. I just don't know what to expect from Chelsea. Chelsea will pick up some results somewhere. They could go and beat Everton here. So I was happy to just lean at the goals market. 4 of the last 5 Everton games at home have been over 2.5, and Chelsea away from home, the over 2.5's landed 4 of the last 5. I thought it was 4-5 for the overs. I thought it was a decent price. I expected that to be a bit shorter. given that Chelsea games lately have seen 26 goals in the last 5 Chelsea games. Goals at both ends. So over 2.5 at 4-5 looks really attractive to me as a single pick. But I would happily potentially go up the ladder with this one. Certainly over 3.5 would definitely appeal. I think the price on that was 2-1 for over 3.5. So yeah, the pick for me is over 2.5 goals. Everton Chelsea at 4-5. But I do like going up a little bit. Over 3.5 is 2-1. Over 4.5, 9-2.
2 o'clock on Sunday, Fulham take on West Ham. Fulham are 11-8 plus 137 in from 13-9 plus 145 after tonight's win. The draw is 5-2. West Ham have drifted a tenth of a point, whereas 17-10 are out to 9-5 plus 180 for the Hammers. Barry?
Yeah, again, a difficult one without having seen West Ham versus Spurs on the Thursday. Because prior to that, West Ham are doing all right. They've won 5 of the last 7 in all competitions. But I think we mentioned last week, they haven't looked particularly good. I don't think West Ham fans are particularly impressed with what they've seen from them. David Moyes always seems to be just a couple of results away from starting to become under pressure again. I think he got away with it last year from the European runs. But I think we mentioned that they've had quite a favourable run of fixtures, and we both thought Spurs tomorrow would probably be more of a challenge. We both fancy Spurs to beat them, I think. Fulham form, 2 wins and 3 losses in the last 5, but the defeats have come against Liverpool later on, Villa and Man United. So for more comparison games, they've got home wins recently against Forest and Wolves, which are possibly closer comparisons to those defeats against the likes of Liverpool and Villa. The standout for me with Fulham is the goals. They've scored 11 goals in the last 5 games. 11 goals in the last 4, I think it is, and 5 obviously tonight. So goals, again, Malcolm, over 2.5 appeals here to me. But I do slightly favour Fulham as the home side here. So I'm going to go for Fulham goals instead, because the over 2.5 is at 4-5, so minus 125. But I can get Fulham to score 2 or more at plus money, 6-5, plus 120. So that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go for Fulham to score 2 or more against West Ham at a price of 6-5.
I've got the same bet, Barry. Same bet, same price. Having not seen West Ham, I was quite happy to not factor them into my handicap. My handicap was fully focused on Fulham here. I took the Fulham team total tonight, plus 150. They scored 5 times. They've scored 3 or more goals for 3 consecutive top-flight games for the first time since 1966, Barry. Jimenez scored his first brace since 2020. So, yeah, I think they can go again. The price is absolutely fine. It's a little bit short. It's plus 120 rather than plus 150, but it's still a fair price. And they've achieved that in their 3 previous home games. So, yeah, why not go again at plus money? Fulham team total, exactly the same. But the final 2 o'clock game on Sunday sees Luton Town take on Manchester City. Luton Town are 16-1. The draw is 13-2 plus 650. Manchester City 1-7 minus 700. Luton will be devastated with that 4-3 defeat. They played really, really well. They got their noses in front at 3-2 after about 50-something minutes against Arsenal yesterday. And they played well. They did what they made it difficult for Arsenal. They competed. They made the most of their opportunities going forward. They made the most of the set pieces. But we took both teams to score for good reason. And it's hit again at even money in that game. Now, Manchester City struggling, Baz. They will have Rodri back. You've just laid out the case of him being such a key player. But they still can't defend. The 4 league games without a win for Manchester City. First time in 7 years they've gone 4 league games without a win. I mean, a bit like the Fulham game, I've just taken the same bet, Baz, because why not? It's plus money. The reasoning that I took it hasn't changed. And obviously you feel better about it when it's cashed. So I don't need to get away from a lot of this stuff. I'll take both teams to score again, Baz. Plus 105, 21-20.
Yeah, I thought you might go that way. I mean, it becomes difficult, doesn't it? Man City at 1-7, having no win in 4 games in the league. Obviously, a tougher run of games. Chelsea, Liverpool, Villa did more difficult games than this. But up against the Luton side, who've made it difficult for teams. Everyone who's gone to Kenilworth Road has found it difficult. Arsenal found it hard last night, as did Liverpool a few weeks ago. Spurs did, where they only came away with a 1-0 win. Still, nobody's won here by more than a single goal. I was a bit torn because Man City could come out angry for this one and go out and make a statement. As I say, they've had a tough run of games, and this one's a bit easier. We can ease up next week with Champions League qualification and top in the group, so that I think they can sort of go full throttle here. But Luton, as you said there, they can score goals. They've scored in 8 of the last 10. Saw them cause problems from set pieces last night, and they can definitely do the same against City, as we've seen. So I am going goals, but I've gone for match total here. I didn't fancy City handicap. You would need to be taking like a 3-0 or better. City totals, even for City to score 3 or more, 4-6, really short price. But let's not, despite the poor form, City are still scoring goals themselves. They scored 3 against Spurs, 4 against Chelsea. They went to Old Trafford and scored 3. City might go and spank Luton here, but Luton might nick a goal at least. Either way, I can hit this over 3.5 goals. So that's where I've gone for my pick here. I've gone even money for over 3.5. As I say, City could get them themselves, but I think, like you, I think Luton will get at least 1, leaving me City just to need 3. So yeah, the pick for me, Luton Man City, over 3.5 goals at evens.
Final game on the card is the tea time game on Sunday, 4:30, kick-off 11:30 Eastern Time. Tottenham Hotspur against Newcastle United. Tottenham 5-4 plus 125. The draw 14-5 plus 280. Newcastle 17-10 plus 170. Baz.
Yeah, so this one's obviously the hardest one. Have to really caveat it by saying both teams are yet to play in this midweek slate, so we are going in a bit blind. So definitely factor that in, because if there's any big injuries, suspensions, anything like that, that could change things. Players like Trippier are a card away from being suspended. Newcastle pick up a new injury every week. So if, for example, we lost Anthony Gordon tomorrow or Joe Linton or something, could change everything. Anyway, as we know, Spurs fall without a win now. Prior to facing West Ham, so obviously that might have changed. They've lost the last 2 home games. Villa and Chelsea have both went there and won. And they've conceded 11 in the last 4 games. I think we expected they would start conceding goals due to their style of play and due to the fact Van de Ven's now missing. I do like Spurs to get back on track versus West Ham. As yet, we don't know the outcome of that. But looking for some trends, both teams to score and the overs has hit in each of the last 5 games for Spurs. Goals looks good every week at the moment in Spurs games. I'm a little bit tentative on Newcastle here. Thursday to Sunday, Malcolm. We all know how hard it is. Play on a Thursday and then play on a Sunday. You can't do that, can you? Wednesday, Saturday is fine. We know that. Yeah. Thursday, Sunday is. But seriously, it's been a busy schedule for Newcastle. Really tough run of games. But we have sort of benefited a little bit from having some quite big breaks between them. We played on the Tuesday in the Champions League and then didn't play till Saturday, so we had quite a break there. And then we'll go on Saturday all the way through to Thursday. So this one is a bit more of a challenge with Newcastle's thinner squad. It's the same for Spurs, and Spurs are also going Thursday to Sunday. So a couple of things for me. Dubravka comes in for Pope. Pope's going to be out for 4 months. Dubravka's okay. He's not as good as Pope. It is a bit of a downgrade, but not a massive concern. The bigger concern really is the away form. Still just 1 win away from home all season in the league for Newcastle. And that was against Sheffield United. That's prior to playing Everton tomorrow, so obviously that could change. So I've been quite high on Newcastle in recent games, but I can't take them here. We are in good form, and we've got momentum at the moment, playing well against good sides. But the away form's a concern. Spurs is going to be a tough match. We've drawn 4 of our last 8 games away from home in all competitions. So that's where I've went for. I didn't fancy Newcastle. Well, it's not that I don't fancy them. I don't fancy backing them. They might well go and win. They might keep up the efforts that they have done. At some point, I feel like something's got to come to an end. But yeah, I like the price for the draw. I'm going for the draw. Newcastle Spurs at 14-5.
Okie doke, thank you. The tricky thing for me here is I don't know what the reason to Tottenham's performance at Manchester City, that 3-3. I don't know if that was good or bad, because they did well in various spells. But equally, if I'd watched the highlights and then you told me Tottenham won 7-1, that wouldn't have surprised us either.
Well, funny enough, you mentioned that. Postecoglou was asked this in his press conference today. They'd said something about how they'd received a lot of praise for the performance against Man City. And he just replied saying, well, after the game we did, or at the end of the game we did. And I think he was alluding to the fact that had you have asked anyone 80 minutes in or 70 minutes in or whatever, earlier in the game, they didn't particularly play that well. But obviously at the end of it, they get a late goal, they get the equaliser, and suddenly it's a massive result, and it distorts how people look at the performance itself, don't they? You probably start to think Spurs played better than they actually did.
Yeah. And I keep sort of fading Newcastle on the pretense that these 11 players that they've got can't keep going to the well time and time again. But then they keep proving me wrong. Chelsea, PSG, Manchester United, they just keep doing it. So it's a body of evidence, but who do you think's a better team, Tottenham or Newcastle?
Newcastle.
I agree. I think they are. Yeah, I think we'll finish above them.
It's definitely a closer one, isn't it? If they have Maddison and Van de Ven in,
yeah.
We've seen early season form. That's what we've seen. But in terms of what they've got available now, starting 11s, I'd take us.
See, I don't know what to read into that Manchester City game. Before that, they were all over the shop. They were absolutely all over the shop. And Newcastle keep proving it. The disparity of those prices, plus 125 Tottenham, plus 170 Newcastle. I want Newcastle, but we might get a couple of players back as well. Potentially Callum Wilson, maybe Botman. So we might have some more players. So yeah, I'm going to take Newcastle, Baz, which is very rare. I don't often throw me hat into the ring behind Newcastle, but I'm going to do it. They're going to win 4-3 because Frank's putting up a Heung-min Son hat-trick for Tottenham. A little bit of devilment there, Frank. Cheeky. Okay, I did not write down any exotic stuff, Baz, but I can fetch some out while you tell us about yours.
Yeah, no problem. I'll get stuck straight in. With a money line treble this week, Mal, I'm having no luck at all with my trebles. I took Liverpool to score 3 or more as one of my picks this week, so my treble went down early on there. Money line treble, nothing too fancy. Liverpool to win, Wolves to win, and Brighton to win pays 7-2, plus 350. My underdog of the week has to be Villa. Villa at 12-5 for me is the underdog of the week. Villa to beat Arsenal. And a scorer, I've gone for Cole Palmer. He's got 5 already this season. Got 1 tonight. He's on penalties for Chelsea, and I think there'll be goals in that Chelsea-Everton game. 12-5 anytime, Cole Palmer, and 7-1 first scorer.
Okay, well, I'm not picking a accumulator because I haven't, and I'm shit at them when I've got half a day to pick them. So I've got no chance of picking a winning one out in the 30 seconds you gave me then. I have got an anytime goal scorer, Baz, and I'm going to go to a man who's in form. We know he can score goals. He got 2 tonight. Like I said, his first brace since 2020. Raul Jimenez. And if we think Fulham are going to score a few goals against West Ham, Jimenez, Baz, what a price this is, 9-4. Plus 225. Definitely going to start up top in a team that scored 3 or more goals in 3 consecutive games. In West Ham, Leaky at the back. And for my dog, I love Villa, but I'll give the listeners an alternative because you picked Villa. I'm going to go with Sheffield United, Baz. A little bit of a new manager bounce. Brentford aren't up to much. And they're going to win a game sooner or later. Today might be the day. So Sheffield United plus 375, 15-4 to roll over Brentford. And Barry, can we go to bed? It's 20 to 1 in the morning.
I was just looking at one of the system plays first, Malcolm. Saturday, both teams to score all 6 games.
Ooh.
What price do you want?
6
games. I'll give you 22 to 1, Malcolm.
All right, yeah.
They all came in on Sunday, didn't they? We had a full slate of both teams to score. As you say, it's turned into a bit of a scorers league. So yeah, both teams to score. Lots of trends for that at the moment. Pile on the Saturday games, all of them, all 6 at 22 to 1.
Love that one. Right, thank you very much, Baz. Enjoy your works Christmas do tomorrow. Are you going to get dead pissed?
Probably not, because I feel like crap. If I feel like this tomorrow, I wouldn't be that bothered. Plus, I want to get home for the Everton Newcastle game.
Yeah.
I'm out at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, though, to be fair, so I could still turn up home in time for kickoff and be pretty pissed. I've still got 7 hours to get full of booze, so.
Yeah, whatever. I'm going to miss the game tomorrow, Baz. I'm grafting again. Honestly, the cogs of industry, me turning them bad. Nose to the grindstone. See this? My nose at the grindstone. Very working class hero. Where do you want your statue, etc.?
A quick reminder, Malcolm, if anyone's still listening, Spotify Wrapped, last chance. If you can get a picture of you and your Spotify Wrapped and us on it, get that to us before Sunday. Any entries will go into a little challenge next week to see if we can win a piece of merch. We've had a few new subscribers on YouTube this week. That's went flying over 400, heading towards 500 now. So keep subscribing if you haven't done so already on the YouTube. If you listen on the podcast, just give us a subscribe on YouTube. It all helps. And keep reviewing, writing, reviews, rating, all of that lot. All the good stuff.
Champion, yes. We'll be back on Sunday night, 10 p.m. In the middle of the NFL. Slate as our guillotine team carries on. So we might be a little bit distracted, but we'll reflect on all the winners we picked this weekend and we'll get stuck into whatever's happening next week. Thanks everyone who joined us in the chat, Captain Insano and Frank and Brian and whoever else was there. Good luck with your bets this weekend. And we will see you down the road. Cheers.